Hey, what's going on, guys? It's LuceyGoosey or Kyle, and welcome to my draft analysis for the Oshean League Division 2. That is right, we are here with a brand new league. We're going to be the Edmonton Coilers for this league. I know I go back and forth on which league I'm, the team of. I do want to go over, though, what has happened in last couple of weeks with Draft League, because there hasn't been much content on my channel. So I did drop PSBL halfway through the season. I know that I had about half of the weeks uploaded. I played about probably 3 more weeks that I didn't upload, and then I didn't make playoffs, so I guess I didn't really drop it. But I dropped uploading those last couple of weeks that I didn't upload just because it wasn't a big deal. I missed playoffs by like a couple differential points, and I just felt like it wasn't really worth uploading the last couple of weeks because they were all pretty bad losses. But anyways, we're here with the Oshean League Division 2, brand new league. If you guys don't know who Matt Oshai is, he is a great YouTuber. He's really growing fast, which is awesome to see the community support him so much. But he ended up having a league for all of the people that support him in his Discord, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna apply for this league, and I ended up getting into Division 2, which is really awesome. So thanks, Matt, for giving me the opportunity to participate in this league, and I hope that I can do really well. Anyways, this is a sort of like GBA style, except it has an S tier, so maybe more like MPA style draft. Where the S tiers can't use Z moves though, so like things like Protein Greninja and Tapu Lele are allowed in this league. Magearna's allowed in this league, and then there's some really top tier Megas as well, like Mega Metagross, Mega Mawile. I believe Mega Kangaskhan is allowed in this league as well, so stuff like that. But those don't count as S tiers; they actually count as Megas that will take away some of your free points. So, anyways, I don't think I actually have the rules for the league, but you do get 11 picks. You have your standard tier 1, tier 2, 2 tier 3s, tier 4, tier 5, mega, 4 free picks. The S tiers count as free picks. They take 220 points off, and then we pick 3 Z users at the end of the draft. Anyways, I had the second overall pick, and I was really happy. I was either going to get Mega Metagross or Magearna. I knew, obviously, I'd get one of them, and it ended up being that Mega Metagross is going to be our first pick. So Magearna actually ended up lasting like 8 picks in the draft, which I thought was crazy, but I felt like Mega Metagross was better than Magearna, and it, that speed tier is really nice. The 110 speed tier, steel type. Yeah, that speed tier is really nice to hit. Also super bulky, 150 defense, obviously going to be able to take hits really well. 145 attack, just deal out powerful bullet punches. This thing also can be a rock setter, but I don't know if I'm going to use it as a rock setter too much. It has the ability to set up with speed as well, like agility, and do a lot of damage. Also Meteor Match, which can boost its attack, which is pretty cool. We're going to be nicknaming this thing Tony Stark, and obviously using the shiny version of Mega Metagross. So that is our first pick of the draft. Now, we had to wait till the 31st pick to get our next Pokemon, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I want to develop my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. And as the draft slowly starts going on, I was thinking Hydreigon, because I was like, well, I have to think realistically here. Hydreigon's probably going to be the one that comes back to me. And actually, Hydreigon, I don't even think made it back. But one of the dragons I was looking at that I was like, there's no way it's going to make it back to me, actually ended up falling to me. And our second pick of the draft is Zygarde, 50%. So Zygarde is actually really cool. I've used it in one other league, and I used it pretty well. I'm going to be nicknaming it Matrix, and it's also our, our logo, the Coilers. We got our mascot right here, so that's really nice. Really bulky as well. It's nice to have these like bulky offensive Pokemon, so like 121 defense is nothing to sneeze at. We have 95 speed tier, which is decent. It ties with like Darmanitan and a few other things, so but it is faster than a lot of stuff. Like we're faster than Lando and a couple of other things like that, so that's really nice. Really bulky. Also 1,000 arrows, like everyone knows what this thing does. 1,000 arrows, E-speed, Dragonium Z outrage, that's pretty nice. Coil or Dragon to get set up, and it's just a really bulky Pokemon that can take advantage of a lot of teams that don't have a lot of offensive pressure. So yeah, Zygarde is really nice. And then to complete my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, I was looking at Tapu Fini, and it actually made it back to me. But then I looked at my points. Metagross took away 40 free points, and if I picked Tapu Fini, I'd be at 180 free points for 3 other picks, meaning they'd all have to be tier 4s and below. Or yeah, it would have to be tier 4 and below. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to have 5 low tier Pokemon on this team. I want to have, a nice balance of everything. So I went with Florges, actually, because I felt like Florges did everything that Fini did, except it wasn't a water type. Like, Fini does have a little bit better coverage than Florges. Florges only gets like fairy and grass type moves, but that's okay. Florges is meant to Wish Pass, which Fini can't do. It also has Defog now, which is really nice, and it's super bulky on the special side, which is something I really wanted because the other two were more of a Fizz Def wall. Florges also gets potential to Calm Mind up, and I think it's actually a better Calm Minder than Fini, just because you can put all that into defense, and then even if you're taking special hits, like, you have that amazing natural special bulk, which is really cool. It's a bit slower than Fini, which isn't great, and it doesn't have a good ability, but that's okay. The other reason I didn't pick Fini is because the Misty Terrain would have weakened Zygarde's attacks, which wouldn't have been very nice. So yeah, anyways, that was my third pick. Then going into my fourth pick, this is where I started to think more of what am I comfortable with and how do I round out this team. Obviously, Water Fire Grass Core is really nice. So I needed a way to, you know, spin away hazards. I have Defog on my Florges, but I was like, you know what, I need a way to get rid of hazards. I would like a water type, but I don't want it to be weak to ground. Or I didn't actually care at this point if it was weak to ground. I know I have Metagross. I didn't want it to be weak to ice. Or like neutral to ice. So I ended up going with Tentacruel. I was going to go either Tentacruel or Blastoise, and Tentacruel made it back to me. It's got that base 100 speed tier. We're going to be nicknaming it Blooper, Shiny Tentacruel, which is really cool. And yeah, I think overall it's just a really good bulky mon. I wish it was better on the defensive side because I need a good switch in to fighting types, and right now I don't have a great one, like a close combat switch in, but that's okay. Also, no real knockoff switch in at this point, but that's okay as well. Yeah, anyways, Tentacruel is really nice. It can set up Toxic Spikes, it can rapid spin away any hazards, and it's got a few decent abilities. Clear Body, so that like webs won't slow me down, or like you know, if something can't Parting Shot out on me, which is cool. I think it also gets like Liquid Ooze, so if something like uses Giga Drain or Leech Seed, it actually will like give them damage or something. I'm not 100% sure how that works. But anyways, Tentacruel, really nice fourth pick, and basically having the wheel pick, I needed a nice Pokemon to pair this up with, so I went with my comfort pick of Shaymin to Fiti. Had it in the MLBA, and I've had it in a few other seasons. I think this is my third time drafting it, so MLBA and PSBL Season 2. Also, this was not copying off of Gym Leader Geo's nickname. I had Tefiti before he did. Anyways, Shaymin put in the work for me in MLBA. I really liked it, especially in playoffs, and I think it's a really good grass type. It's really underrated, you know, one of those mythics with base 100 around the board. A lot of people think that Shaymin is the worst, Shaymin or Celebi, and they always talk about which one's worse, but I think Shaymin's really nice because you can run a bunch of different sets. You can run a Swords Dance physical set, you can run a bulky Rest Natural Cure set, which is really cool, Leech Seed, Sub, or you can even just run it like a Scarf set like I did a couple times with Scarf Seed Flare, and it's also a decent Z-move user because of its all of its coverage, like Psychic, Earth Power, Air Slash, all that stuff. So it also gets access to Tailwind, which is pretty cool in case I need to increase my speed at some point. Tailwind is also an option. So now we have to wait, you know, another couple turns, and I'm thinking, okay, I need a really nice dark Pokemon, because right now knockoff spam or like any type of dark spam is really good against my team. Florges doesn't really take hits that well from physical type Pokemon, so like if I went up against a Crocodile, I just lose right now. Shaymin could probably check Crocodile, and so could Zygarde, but you know, there's a few things like it gets Ice Fang, stuff like that, but I wanted to make sure I had a decent dark type to switch in, and I also wanted it to be really physically bulky as well as be able to roost up. So I went with Mandibuzz. We're going to be naming it Amanda after Mandy the Turtle, the UPL commissioner. I was going to name it Mandy the Buzz, but that didn't sound very good. So we're just going to name it Amanda or Dictator. You know, either one's the same thing. But anyways, yeah, really bulky Pokemon. I know my team consists of a lot of bulk right now, but it also has a lot of offensive pressure. I think Metagross and Zygarde and Shaymin offer enough offensive pressure to cover for these things. I also do need a fire type still to complete that core, but that's okay. I'll get that at some point. And then, yeah, I mean, having your normal Mandibuzz set is usually like Foul Play, Defog, Roost, U-Turn, something along those lines. Maybe Whirlwind, maybe Knockoff, Pursuit, stuff like that. Nothing else too crazy. Mandibuzz usually just does one thing, but it does it really well. You can run Rocky Helmet, Leftovers, and I think it's going to be really fun to use this mon. It takes hits really well. Looking at our first matchup, we're going up against a Mega Gallade and a Victini, and even an Ice Punch for Mega Gallade only does like 45% maximum, so that's really nice to know. And yeah, I just really like Mandibuzz for this team, It gives me another switch in the Earthquake, which is nice, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Next Pokemon I picked, I was going back and forth between fire types, and I was like, alright, I need a fire type. I don't want it to be weak to ground because I already have 2 Pokemon weak to ground. And I was like, well, Volcarona's out there, and if I pick Volcarona, it's going to mess up my free points a lot. But I was really leaning towards Volcarona, and then last second, I went with a comfort pick. I picked Rotom-Heat, changed my mind. I think I should have gone Volcarona. It would have definitely given my team a lot more offensive pressure, and I definitely regretted this pick, like, going on later in the draft. If I had picked Volcarona, it would have made my team a lot easier to draft at the end. But Rotom-Heat, I had it in UPL Season 2. It worked really well for me, getting up screens or, you know, tricking off Scarfs and stuff like that. Also really bulky, but also offensive Pokemon. Nothing likes to switch into a Choice Specs Overheat. Like, there's maybe like 10 Pokemon that can switch into it. So, yeah, Rotom-Heat, really nice. Also gets access to Defog, but I don't think we're going to be using that much. And it's Levitate, so it's not weak to ground. Its only weaknesses are like water and rock, I believe. Maybe one other that I can't think of, but yeah, Rotom-Heat, really awesome Pokemon. I've used it before, and I'm hoping that it can put in work for us. Next pick, this is where I started to be like, well, I actually asked for help at this point in one of the servers. I was like, I don't really know what to pick because I feel like my team's pretty rounded out at this point. I have my 2 cores that I really like. I have my Dark type, and, you know, usually you want to have like a fighting, fighting Psychic Dark core. It's not like a crazy core, but if you have room for it on your team, you can get it. I was also thinking hazards because I only have 1 rock setter, and it's Metagross, which I won't run on. I won't run rocks on him, so I was looking at a couple of rock setters, and overall, I just decided to go with Piloswine as my my tier 5, which was crazy. It should be a tier 4, but it was tier 5 in this league, and has Thick Fat, so it's a decent switch into Ice type moves and a decent switch into Fire type moves. You know, because of its defense with the Eviolite, giving it base 120 instead of base 80. Really nice Pokemon to switch into Electric type Pokemon because they really can't touch me. Like, you know, you're not going to run like a Hidden Power Fire to touch me because it's not going to do much, or Hidden Power Water won't really affect my team too bad, except for Rotom. So yeah, I think Piloswine is a really nice Pokemon. Really reliable rock setter, especially because I can have Oblivious instead of Thick Fat, and then people can't even taunt me. But I think Thick Fat is a little bit better just so I can switch into Fire type moves as well. We're going to be nicknaming it Snuffy after Snuffleupagus from Sesame Street. Sorry if you guys hear my voice is a little bit nasally. I'm just starting to get sick from allergies, I guess. Anyways, next Pokemon I picked, I believe this is another paired pick. Yeah, it is. So, I'm trying to remember what it is. I don't remember the order that I picked from here. I gotta think. I don't remember. Alright, I'll just move on to it. Oh, there it is. Okay, Araquanid. I thought I picked Araquanid after this, but Araquanid was my next pick. I was really confused with the pick here. Like, I was like, okay, I need an Earthquake switch in. Well, I don't need an Earthquake switch in, but I'd like one, and I'd like a little bit more hazard, speed control, so I went with Araquanid. It's a decent Pokemon. It's also a fighting switch in, which is something I needed too. Right now, my only fighting resist are 2 that are special walls, so although Araquanid is also a special wall, 92 defense is not bad. Also, getting up webs is really nice, so in case, you know, Metagross needs to outspeed Scarfers, you know, having webs is really cool as well. We're going to be nicknaming this thing Web Surfer. I thought that was a pretty cool nickname. Came up with that on my own. I'm sure other people have come up with that too, but Web Surfer was something I was just like, hey, that's a cool name. Water Bubble has the ability, meaning it resists fire type moves, can't be burned. And then it also has Water Absorb if I feel like bringing that, which, you know, obviously I can't get hurt by water type moves. So, yeah, I think Araquanid overall is pretty decent. I wish it was more offensive, but it's a decent Trapper Toxicer as well, so that's pretty cool. And overall, I don't know if we'll be bringing it to too many games because it doesn't fit the team too much, but I think it could be a really cool asset. Next Pokemon we picked was Zebstrika. I needed a tier 4 at this point, and Zebstrika was actually a tier 5, but there was no electric types that hit the speed tier I wanted to hit in tier 4. Raichu is the closest with 110, or Raichu Alola. Was 110, and I was just like, well, I need 115 plus so that I can outspeed a couple of these things, especially the 110s and even the 115s. So I went with Zebstrika in order to do that. Shiny Zebstrika, Racing Stripes. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie. It can be run physical or special. It's got Lightning Rod as well as Sap Sipper and Motor Drive, so really nice abilities right there. And not a very bulky Pokemon, but still, like, AV Zebstrika is decent. Life Orb, Scarf, Specs, stuff like that. But Zebstrika can be really nice to this team, and I think it's a pretty cool addition. Lastly, I needed a tier 4. I wanted a fighting type, and I wanted one that got Mach Punch. However, I believe the only one that got Mach Punch in tier 4 were the Hitmonlee and the Hitmontop, and those got picked pretty early, so I didn't actually have an option for a Mach Punch Pokemon, so I was looking at Vacuum Wave, and there was like Hariyama and the Pokemon that I picked. However, it's a physical Pokemon, so we probably will never run Vacuum Wave on it. But I went with Primeape, Twitch Prime, base 95 speed, same as Zygarde. But it's a decent Scarfer. It also has the Defiant ability, which I was surprised it was tier 4, but I figured I got the steal on Piloswine in tier 5, so I guess I'll take something that's a tier 5 in tier 4. But yeah, I mean, Defiant ability, I can switch it into a default, get +2 attack. If I'm Scarf, then I can put in a lot of work against different teams. It doesn't have the greatest coverage, but I believe it also gets U-turn, so that's nice momentum on it. But yeah, basically just to throw off fighting type moves if a team's really fighting weak. Like, a lot of the S tiers are steel types, so like, let's say I'm going up against a team that has like Ash Greninja and a really good steel type. There's a team that has Ash Greninja and Kyurem Black and stuff like that, so like close combats against that team is really crazy, so like a Scarf Primeape could do really well against that. But anyways, guys, that is it for my draft analysis. I did pick my Z-move users to be Shaymin and Zebstrika and Zygarde. I couldn't really decide on Z-move users. My team is very defensive, not very offensive, so I know Z Shaymin's really nice. It's my Z captain in case I want to run Z Tailwind. Z Celebrate's obviously banned as an Omni boosting Z move, but Z Tailwind's the only like support Z move that I would use on Shaymin. And then offensive Z moves like Electrium Z and Dragonium Z, Groundium Z for the other two. But I can also run like Grassium Z on Shaymin. Like, those are all allowed. So really nice. I think these are probably my 3 best choices for Z captains. Maybe Florges would have been a decent one, or like Rotom or Primeape. But that's okay. I think these were the best 3 choices I could have came up with. And I know Zebstrika won't be brought to a lot of games, but I'm hoping that it can put in the work. Anyways, I hope you guys did all enjoy our draft analysis, and I hope you're excited for this this season. The Oshean League Division 2 matches should be going up within the week or sometime next week. I'm not sure. I haven't actually scheduled my battle, but I do want to be doing live commentaries for this season, so I'll be trying to do that live, as well as doing some team builders so you guys can see how I come up with all my teams. Anyways, hope you guys did all enjoy this video. I'm out for now. Peace.